Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of the YouTube. Back with the vlogs today as been I think maybe two and a half weeks since I picked up the Osmo for a vlog, and quite a lot has happened in that time. Obviously the last video, which if you haven't seen it, I would really appreciate if you went and checked it out. Let me know your thoughts. The last video was more of an informational piece from me, which is a little bit different from the content that I have put out previously, but it was obviously titled how I finally maximized my growth phase after 10 years, which there's a little bit of clickbait there obviously, but the video focuses primarily on how I've managed to make so much progress essentially in the last 3 years, and how I stopped taking the piss in the off season essentially. But yeah, I'm trying to keep my voice down a bit here because it's just me and Button up at the minute in the house. My mum is still in bed, so I don't want to wake her. However, it's a very exciting day. It was a very exciting day yesterday as well, but it is the second of two back-to-back high days for me today. High day yesterday, first high day of prep. Everything stayed the same except for obviously the food itself. It was a rest day yesterday, and steps were also pulled down 2.5k, so only did 7.5k steps. Be the same today, hence why there's a little bit of a shift to my routine here. I'm actually going to get my meal one in before going and doing some steps, so no fasted steps today. It's also a Sunday, so I've got some check-in responses to get back to today. I've got plenty to listen to during the steps that I do get in here. And yeah, to be honest, as far as the meals go, I'm probably just going to follow exactly the same structure as yesterday. So I've got 5 meals, which obviously are quite a bit higher in carbs than is typical for me at the moment. Obviously being 13 weeks out from my first competition of the season today. Also, pretty significant moment today. After the high day yesterday. After the high day yesterday and the rest day and getting my cardio in, I have actually dropped weight. So this morning was a new low for me, 78.9 kilos, which is just mad, to be honest. I cannot believe how I look and the rate of the scales dropping, considering the food that I'm on. It really has blown my mind this time around. I know I've said this a few times, but you know, I stepped on stage last time around 72 kilos. I'm going to be stepping on stage significantly heavier than that this time around, which is exciting, you know. And I think at this stage myself and AJ have kind of realized I've put on quite a lot of muscle for a 3-year off season, and it's going to be cool to sort of see like a visual representation of the fruits of my labor. It's been cool over the last couple of weeks to see my physique come to life and see me come in and realize, okay, like maybe the last 3 years actually was worth it, you know, sticking so close to plan every single day. So yes guys, anyway, we're gonna kick off here with meal one. I'm gonna get this sorted, which is nothing too fancy. 3 slices of sourdough, 200 grams of egg whites and 1 whole egg. Once I have got that prepped, I'll obviously show you it, and then we're going to head out and get some steps in. One thing I actually did want to do was give a shout out to Newbeing, which I know some of you guys have been asking, do I rate it? Do I actually use it? The answer there is of course yes, I do use it. And to be honest guys, like I wouldn't have agreed to work with a supplement company like them if I didn't actually rate the product. One thing I do need to keep in mind, there is sodium in it. There's 400 grams of sodium in it. So I probably need to start tracking that because I am now at the stage where I'm tracking my sodium daily. But there's literally everything in here that you would want. You know, 5 grams of creatine, boron, vitamin D3, K2, B12, B6, B5, magnesium, zinc, selenium, copper, potassium, ginger extract. I'm getting to it, Button. She's trying to say you should use code CBAM10. But yeah, no, there's plenty of good stuff in here. I really would recommend their stuff, guys. If you are interested, I'll leave the link below, but it's newbeing.com, and make sure you do use code CBAN10 or else. All right, so meal one is ready. As I said, 3 slices of sourdough. I will insert some clips of the meal. 3 slices of sourdough, 200 egg whites, 1 whole egg, 35 grams of ketchup, which seems to be the measure I'm going with even on non-high days at the minute, on meals that require it. No 6 sausages today, guys. We don't need to food volume max. I know that one triggered quite a few people. All right, and the one other thing that I meant to say, which shout out to Jake Byers for always being that guy to have random supplements at his disposal. But for the purposes of this high day, AJ had asked me to use a GDA, which, if you don't know what that stands for, it's a glucose disposal agent. Obviously, because I'm on vastly higher carb intake than usual, so I'm just using 1 cap per meal. Since I'm on my recent engineered kick, I did want to get some glycotank, not turbo digest, which I mistakenly thought was their GDA at first when asking for it. But yeah, Jake managed to have some glycotank already. I had ordered some, hoping that it would be here in time. Unfortunately, the package isn't due to arrive until tomorrow, so here's what it is. 1 capsule with every meal today, as I said, just to help the partitioning of nutrients, of course, because I'm not gonna lie, things like a GDA and like even Peak Max and all that, like, I'm just not the type of guy to have a cupboard full of supplements. Funnily enough, New Being signed me up to be one of their ambassadors. I just like to keep things to a bare minimum. One, because I'm not blessed with space. And 2, also just, I'll be real, I like to just save the money on supplements and just really run on whey and creatine in the off season. I don't even take a sleep sup in the off season. So yeah, anyway, gonna get stuck into this meal here and then head out for steps. All right, guys, so obviously out for my steps here. It's getting ready to rain, hence the multiple layers. I actually have this, like, I've got it on at the minute. I have this massive coat, which I got from Through Dark. Some of you might be familiar with the company, but they specialize in like military clothing that's adapted for civilian wear. It's owned by like one of the guys that does SAS Who Dares Wins. But yeah, I got this coat, which is called the Shroud, which is essentially a massive, huge, like Arsene Wenger style overcoat, specifically for prep at Christmas. That's one thing I'd definitely recommend. If you're coming into a prep year, I would recommend trying to like purchase the items that you need prior to actually kicking off the prep, because if you don't, you'll end up just with a hugely inflated prep purchases bill. And to be honest, a good show season is expensive enough as it is, as I'm certainly finding out. So yeah, things like this coat, new pair of New Balances for steps, a new Oura ring, which, to be fair, I bought neither of those. But yeah, like having those on the list as things to get sorted prior to kicking off a prep's always a good idea, in my opinion. It's something that I really learned from the last time, because I honestly think throughout my prep 2023 year, I saved like no money in the actual life savings, because I just spunked it all on prep and buying items that I thought would make a difference. And whenever you get to this stage, you know, you are going to pick something up if you think it's going to make a difference to your day-to-day routine, because ultimately, well, if you care enough about your goals, and you can obviously afford it, that is, but ultimately, you know, it is fine margins, and it takes so much of your headspace, dedication, everything, thinking about, you know, those 1, 2, 3 show days, whatever it is. But anyway, enough rambling. Hopefully you can hear me okay, because the DJI mic is attached to my hoodie. But yeah, so anyway, high day today. As I have already shown, meal one is in, which again, not the usual play for me. Usually I have meal one after I do my steps, but given the fact that it's a Sunday, I had an extra hour in bed because sleep is something that the last couple of nights I haven't gotten a lot of hours in, and to be honest, I've been going to bed with plenty of time, so I'm kind of hoping this isn't the start of it, but I am finding my mind is racing with excitement just thinking about show days at the minute, and it is definitely causing me to wake up a bit earlier, go to bed a bit later. So it's not my usual problem, not quite the same problem that I've complained about a few times, where I'm just doing so much that I'm not getting to bed early enough. I'm definitely getting to bed early enough the last couple of nights. It's more so just that, I don't know, getting over to sleep and getting my mind clear has been a bit more of a problem. I just want it too badly, clearly. But yeah, I'm obviously only on 7.5k steps today, so it's not very much. I'll probably only walk, I would say, half of my usual morning route today as a result. And then whenever I get back, I've got a good few check-ins to get through today. Sunday is my main check-in day anyway, so I do all of my client work in the morning. I have some physique assessments to get back to as well, which is good. Good to see that people are now making use of that service as well, which is totally free. If you are maybe at a crossroads with your physique development, you know, you're kind of thinking like, what am I best doing from here? Bulking up, cutting down, or you just want some direction. Or you could be a competitor and you're kind of wondering, you know, well, one, do I have like a good potential in this sport? You know, maybe if you're an aspiring competitor, or maybe you're also looking at your physique and wondering, what class do I best fit into? Yeah, the free physique assessment is there for anyone that wants to avail of it. You'll get a totally personalized response from me. It'll take you less than 5 minutes to submit the details required. And yeah, the whole idea is that I'll obviously then be able to roadmap out the next steps ahead for yourself and give my thoughts and opinions on where you're at and what you could potentially look at doing for going forward. But yeah, no, so today's Sunday, as I've mentioned, I've got legs today. I think I've filmed this session before. I definitely have, yeah. It was actually one of my first vlogs. But this is my stiff leg deadlift day. So yeah, things are holding quite well. I think across the board with regards to my training, things are holding quite well. Like the other day, I sort of caught myself in like absolute disaster mode, and I was like, mate, why? Because at the peak of my off season, I think I was pushing 115 kilos a side on the Arsenal leg press, and now I'm down to like 110. Like it's a 5 kilo drop. You know what I mean? And like with that piece anyway, I would argue to get the most out of that piece, you're not even looking at like core load. I honestly think I've had better sets on that thing with higher reps, you know, around the 9-10 range than, you know, 5-6 rep sets. So yeah, I think I'm guilty of it too, but you just can't get too wound up by load drops when you're on a diet. Like you're getting lighter. I'm standing here today 6 kilos off since the start of my prep, and you can fucking see it. I'll tell you that for free. You can even see it in my face on the camera. So yeah, of course there's going to be differences in terms of the load that you can move effectively within your sessions. That's the other thing. Like it's all well and good moving the load, but if you're not moving it effectively, mate, just leave the ego at the door, honestly. It would do me absolutely no good whatsoever at this stage to be going into the gym and still barbell rowing 140 kilos. Like, yeah. So, no. I suppose real take home here. If you're in a deficit yourself, just don't get me wrong, don't surrender your progress. Don't expect to see things drop by like 20 kilos, for example, off of a barbell, but you will see small drops, and that is just to be expected as part and parcel of the game. The main thing is that as you go further and deeper into your lifting journey, obviously as the years go on, with each passing deficit and each passing growth phase, you're going to get stronger. You're probably not going to be back down as low with that movement in terms of the load that you've had to drop it to. This stat or this cut, whatever you want to call it, whenever you think about, you know, where you could be next time round. So that's the game. It's all about long-term progress, isn't it? Long-term gratification. This is bodybuilding. All right, so seeing as I'm on a high day here, and I'm obviously on slightly higher calories anyway, I suppose it may make sense to fire in one of these, which I think there's actually only 16 calories in one of these, but the guys at the Turmeric Co actually sent me a free sample box there, and just got in touch on Instagram. So I have to be honest, I'm not really the biggest fan of turmeric shots. I think I've had like one in my life, and that was in Dubai. But I will give these a go. I know quite a few people are a big fan of their turmeric first thing in the morning. Give one of these a taste test. Not bad, to be fair. Like, considering you're knocking it back, I wouldn't be the biggest fan, but for the health benefits, I mean, this one was raw turmeric and ginger shot. Muscle function, immune defense, bones and cartilage, reduced tiredness. I wouldn't be rushing to move it into part of my morning routine, but certainly up for giving them a go and seeing if, for example, after a week I notice any major benefits. But yeah, they've got a couple of flavors here. Got a raw turmeric, this orange one, raw turmeric, vitamin C and D3 shot, and also a beetroot one, which to me, I don't know if I'll be venturing over to try that one, but yeah, I suppose again, just a big thanks to the guys at the Turmeric Co. I will probably share these with the rest of the family, see what their thoughts are as well. If you are in the market for some turmeric shots, definitely hit them up. Hi Danielle, good morning. Thank you very much for your check-in for this week and for getting everything across to me after what has been a very good week. All right, Reece, how's it going, mate? I hope things are all good with yourself and you've had a good start to your Sunday so far. All right, guys, so it is time for another meal two of the day, and for this one, we are in for a treat. Everybody's favorite fish at the moment, besa. Mate, ever since I started using this, and I'm getting on there like I'm responsible, but there've been a couple of reels that have gone viral about the use of besa now as a protein source, mainly due to the price of it. I mean, it's £1.85 for that. Like, that's crazy. 50 grams of protein there. Compare that to like sea bass, you would be paying nearly triple. Yeah, very cheap as far as this day and age goes. And I've got two fillets here. With this, I've got 150 grams of pineapple and 400 grams of potato, which has just finished up in the air fryer. So with this, I literally just fry it straight into the pan. I'm not gonna lie, like, a lot of people have seen me post besa on Instagram and stuff. Zach, I'm looking at you. One of my clients, Zach, he is always judging me for using this, but I'm gonna be real. I was talking to Donal McAllister, also fellow NBFI Irish champion, and he was saying exactly the same thing as me. It doesn't taste of fish whatsoever. It literally doesn't. Like, you know how like fish from a fish and chip shop doesn't really have that like fishy, disgusting taste. Like, you could take cod from a fish and chip shop into work and eat it, and people wouldn't be like going, ugh, like, who brought in the fish? It's kind of like that. It's exactly the same. Like, it doesn't stink. Whereas like, you definitely wouldn't be bringing tuna sandwiches into work. Like, tuna actually turns me because of the smell of it. But it is very cheap. But anyway, the point is, Besa is great, and if you don't like it, grow up, because you probably just need to try it. It's a very, very good solution, in my opinion, for quality protein source for a meal. White fish to thin the skin, mate. Obviously, I touched on it this morning. Each meal at the moment has 1 gram of low salt, 1 gram of pink salt per meal. So I've actually already fired both of these onto the potatoes, which are in the air fryer, which I will show you just now. But yeah, as I said, 400 grams there. So looking forward to this. They're basically just like chips. I have really taken a liking to white potato in recent weeks. There's a fucking fly in this kitchen and it's been annoying me since yesterday, so might have to kill it here. So yeah, anyway, gonna let these cook and then I'll show you the finished result before I obviously get meal 2 in. And then after that, I still have 3 check-ins to do. 3 check-ins and a couple of physique assessments. And I probably got about 3.5 hours until I need to leave for the gym. So making pretty good time through those, to be fair. Should hopefully get some time free to get a post up on Instagram for content for the day as well. So 100 grams of pineapple, no points for presentation here. And on this, I am gonna fire a couple of drops of Tabasco. Obviously another cap of glycotank going in with that. But yeah, there we have it, guys. Meal 2, as I said, 400 gram of white potato, 250 grams of Besa fillets, and 100 grams of pineapple. So that's meal 2 for this high day. As I said, doesn't look like much because I've drowned it in ketchup, but very, very enjoyable and has become a staple for me throughout prep. Usually I have this meal and just half the quantity of potatoes on a normal day. So yeah, with this being a high day, bit of a treat, some extra chips for today. Justin, how's it going, mate? I hope you are all good. Hope you've had a good start to your Sunday and you've had a good weekend, or perhaps it's the evening where you are. I think if I'm correct, you're based in the United States, which is a fair distance away from where I am over in Ireland. But yeah, mate, I really do appreciate you taking the time to engage with the free physique assessment. All right, so it's time to eat once again. Meal 3, this will be my pre-workout meal. So I will show you what we are working with here. So we have 100 grams of cream of rice, 100 grams of frozen blueberries, 100 grams of banana. No, I tell a lie, it's 60 grams of banana. And then I have 40 grams of whey paste here, which will go on top. And obviously as well, I have a fat source to get in there, which is going to be 10 grams of dark chocolate. I've actually been using Marks and Spencer's 85% dark chocolate quite a lot, as opposed to the Lindt stuff. Shay McCall got me on that one, so yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, I think just everything from Marks and Spencer's tastes nicer, to be honest. I would imagine a good amount of you all watch Wesley Vissers and his vlogs. Every single time I make whey paste, I catch myself going, whey drip and the golden rice. Yeah, we've got the whey paste, whey drip, whatever you want to call it, going on there, which always adds to a meal. We've got Perform Red Velvet here, which I am trying to finish off at the moment, as I've got a tub of chocolate orange sitting out in the car. So me and Button are sitting watching the Formula 1 here. I will get this into me, obviously, and then head to the gym in probably just under 1 hour's time. Right, so I'm 2 exercises into the session here. I've obviously walked through this one before, so probably just include the main lifts here. Just check, Reese has been on this before me, and he's a much taller guy than me, so he usually has this set up totally wrong for my liking anyway. But yeah. But yeah, I've managed to hold this quite well, to be fair. I'm still maintaining my seated ham, which I think it's easier said than done on this piece. I find this prime seated ham relatively difficult. I have to say, if I was rating movements throughout my week on their difficulty, this one would be particularly high. I don't know what it is. This piece I just find super heavy and challenging. Saying that, I am one off the stack here, but yeah, no, this is a piece that I do think has contributed quite a lot to the growth of my hamstrings. Actually, I had a guy comment on, I think it was one of the clips I posted of me doing hacks in here, about the size of my hams the other day. I think this piece has contributed quite heavily to their growth, but it's not fun. It burns like fuck, and it's very, very heavy. But yeah, I have spoken about this before, but setting 1 is at setting 5 and set 2 is at setting 3. So obviously the challenge on the first set is very, very, very high. 2 sets on here, and then I've got my glute drive, hyperextensions, and then on 2 stiff legs for myself. I'm just watching Mr. Reese Toll here warming up for his own set of stiff legs. So yeah, we'll crack on here and get after the working sets. Ah, fuck. Don't think I would count that last rep as full rep. It's probably more of a half or a 3/4, but to be fair, last week I only got 4, so it's just a bit frustrating because I thought I was going to be on for the 5 there, which would be obviously regaining a nice rep. I'm not too thrilled, to be honest, about 4 reps on a top set of a seated ham anyway, but like, I'll take it for now. If it dropped off 1 more, I'd definitely be taking a load drop. But given how this piece is, and as I said, the stimulus that I feel like I get from it, 4 reps it's okay. My back off more than makes up for it. I get like 10 plus here, with two pins lower on the stack. So I'm happy enough for that. But if I did have a spot, I probably would have took a 4+1 there. So it's that time once again. Stiff leg deadlifts on the cards next. I've managed to hold these relatively well. Last week I pulled 185 for 4, which was actually it was 1 down, but to be fair, I had to pull with a deadlift bar, and usually I pull with a stiff bar. Back in the stiff bar today, so we'll see how this goes. But this is my 3rd warm up. This is just 140 on the bar, obviously. So I'll take this for a spin for a couple of reps amidst all the madness here of the gym dog on a hinge mecca of bodybuilding. and we'll see how we get on. Oh fuck, that felt heavy, I'm not gonna lie. Comparison to previous weeks, but still, we're not one to shy away from a challenge. I honestly think I'm struggling to figure out if the bar feels heavy or if I feel heavy as a result of all the additional food today. I'm not gonna lie, I don't feel tremendous for pulling this. The creamer ice pre-workout's definitely sitting in my stomach. Probably just give myself 5 minutes before I actually do the set and then take it from there. I actually still have a decent amount to do after this as well. I've got one set in the arsenal and one set of a myo drop set on the leg extension to do still. So 185 on the bar here. Realistically, I'm shooting for 4, but I would like to get 5 reps here. I'm not gonna lie though, that felt heavy. And just to get my other excuses out of the way, I am obviously at a new low body weight here today, quite considerably. I'm what, 0.6 kilo lighter than I was last week when I did this. Yeah, it is a fair jump relative to my body weight, so hoping for a good set. I'm not in a rush because a few of them are on the Arsenal leg press anyway, so we'll see how this goes. I think this set does require no time for caution. That's I'm not gonna lie, a wee bit frustrating because after the second rep I was like, 5's on here, and on the third one, don't know whether I leant back a little bit too much at the top, but I just felt my lower back give me a little sign of that feeling that I've had in the past prior to quite badly hurting myself in these. Yeah, there was even a hint of, do I go for the 4th here? But managed to box off 4. That's a match. Match on last week. I'll have to see how I go with warm-ups in these next week. Like, probably chat to AJ about it. Sometimes I do get a wee bit carried away with my deadlifts and I forget that I was pulling like 150 for a long time this year because of the state of my lower back after stiff leg deadlift sets. So yeah, no, we'll take that. Like, it is what it is. Still a solid set, still a match on last week. At the end of the day, that's really what I'm interested in here. Like, I'm not going to have lost any muscle as a result of that, you know what I mean? So on to the next exercise. On to probably my favourite machine in this gym, the Arsenal leg press. So the top set here I have planned is 105 kilos, which this will be my last warm before doing. Admittedly, my sets in this they've not been as mega as they had been in the off season, and I am employing a little bit of stubbornness in that I do not want to have to reduce the load on these below 4 plates really. Now, when I say 4 plates, what I mean is 4 25s, because this machine seems to exclusively only have 25s on it, so 100 kilo a side really. At the minute, I'm doing 105 a side from a top set here. There's 3 plates on here, so 75 in total for my last warm-up set. Okay.
Let's go. Nice, easy. Drive, yeah. Let's go, another one. Yeah, yeah. Let's go. Another one. Nice, you're up, you're up.
One more
Let's
race.
go, take it. On drive, drive.
Thank you. That was a really good spot. Okay, the final exercise of this session. I don't think I recorded this last time, but this is a bit of a weird one. So this is a myo set, which what I'll do is as many reps as I can with 1 rep in reserve on my first set. And then after that, it's simply just you get 30 seconds rest, and I have to keep going until I can't achieve 3 reps anymore, and the set's over after that. So it's a little bit more of a technical set to finish things off, but it is quite efficient, and it's also a bit disgusting, to be honest, in terms of the pump achieved. I was doing this on the Cybex pin-loaded leg extension, a couple of machines down from this one, but I've decided to swap to the Prime purely because I was finding on the Cybex, I was having to get people to help me get in and out of it constantly, and I also had to use a seatbelt. I would much rather just use this Prime. As long as I go light on this thing doesn't seem to destroy my knees. I used to use this on prep in 2023, and for some reason I seem to think that this is what contributed to my knees being made of glass, but I actually think it might have been more so the Cybex Mark II hack squat, because this has been fine as long as I load it pretty light. There is only 80 kilos in this, 10 on the mid, the rest on the top, because obviously we're at the very end of the session here, and I'm pretty cooked after that Arsenal set. So I don't know what I'm doing, throwing my phone in my bag whenever it's like the key piece of measurable info that I need here. So I'll keep an eye on the timer between sets, and as I say, I just go until I can't achieve 3 reps anymore. So that was one rotation there. In truth, if I was being super strict, I shouldn't have went for that last one, but I thought I might have got it. So there's 20 seconds gone already. So you really don't get much time to catch a breather between sets here. And as I said, it obviously is an intensifier. First set there was 10. Second was 4, which I actually think is down a rep on last week. Yeah, got 11 on the first set last week. All right, guys, so session wrapped up. I didn't get a chance to record any posing there, as the Osmo spazzed out on me. The gimbal was like freaking out, so unfortunately I didn't get to record any posing on it. I did on my phone, which, if I remember, I'll put some shots over the top of this, but yeah, I was really happy with how I'm looking like at this stage of the game. And obviously midway through, well, I say midway, I've got the final meal here to get in, so I'm literally just about to show you that. But I'm not gonna lie, yeah, very pleased with how I was looking. It was a good session all in all. Final meal just about to go down. Now, I actually had 2 meals remaining, but I'm not gonna lie, because of the length of time I spent in the gym, I have combined it into one. Which didn't really require too much, to be fair. I just swapped out the evening oats for this. So I've had my final 2 caps of Glycomax. Don't mind the fact I'm sitting in the front room here to eat this, by the way. The reason being, my family are having steak in the kitchen, and also the treadmill, the step pad I use is actually directly below me here, and I do need to box off my final 2K after this. So I'm going to sit here and watch the Formula 1 highlights, and then crack on with the steps, get them done. But yeah, I'm going to enjoy this final meal. So in here I have 100 grams of cream of rice, 100 grams of blueberries, 60 grams of sticky toffee Perform whey on top of the cream of rice. And the cream of rice has obviously been chilling in the freezer for a couple of hours. 20 grams of Drizzler peanut butter, and then I've obviously got 3 sunblessed pancakes with 30 grams of jam. Jake was telling me yesterday to stay away from the pancakes and stuff, but honestly, like, given how I felt in that session, mate, like, I honestly think on a training day, like, I need lower volume carb sources, because like 5 meals the size of this, I just don't think is doable for me, to be honest. Yeah, didn't feel great at times whenever I was trying to pull 185 there today, and legs in general, like training legs with that amount of food in my stomach wasn't ideal. And to be fair, I'm still on like what, less than 3,000 calories, so to be fair, it might have been the white potato from the base of meal as well, just not sitting the best. But yeah, anyway, regardless, this is the final meal of the day. It's coming up to 8 o'clock, which is why I've combined those meals. Obviously I'm heading to bed in 2 hours, aren't I? So I wanted to get this one in, get my steps boxed off, probably about 20 minutes on the step pad after this, just to aid with digestion. And yeah, that'll do for the day. So I'm actually going to leave this vlog here. But yeah, guys, that was obviously my high day, my second high day of this prep. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope obviously as well, it's been cool to get a bit of a look at how food differs on these days. I will obviously update you if, you know, this becomes a consistent thing. You know, AJ's mentioned, you know, we might end up just employing this approach from now on at the weekends, due to the position I'm in and the fact that we're still 13 weeks out today. So we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, guys, anyway, thank you very much for watching. I do really appreciate it, as always. If you've enjoyed, please drop a like, subscribe if you are new here. 13 weeks out, mad saying it out loud. You know, it doesn't seem like that long ago I was uploading my first prep kickoff vlog. So yeah, guys, thank you very much for the continued support as always. And yeah, I'll obviously catch you guys on the next one then.